Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review impressions of a knife I have very much enjoyed, and I'll give you a little hint that I like this knife a lot. Alright, so this knife's been in my collection for a little bit. I've really enjoyed carrying it, and yeah, you'll probably see it in some other videos because I think it's still in contention for Knife of the Year in 2023. So depending on when this review drops, if it's still in 2023, this might drop before the end of the year top knives of the year, or it might drop after, but this is a phenomenal knife. So let's get into it. This is the Quiet Carry Drift L. So there was originally a Drift which was very similar to this, but it had a finger choil you could choke up on. It was a much smaller knife. It was titanium. It had this beautifully milled or this textured design on there, very thin like this as well. Had the Vanax super clean, very thin, nice drop point, very slicey, beautiful blade, but it was much smaller. And because it was smaller, the action was not as nice as this is. As you can see this already. Look at this action. This is on phosphor bronze washers. So this is a Drift L. It's a larger version. I love what they did here. So I have a Drift LC, which is on caged bearings, which is phenomenal. I owned a Drift when it first came out. I liked it a lot, and it worked in my hands, but it was just too small. I didn't carry it a lot, and I never could get the action as nice as this with this little extra weight. And I love this action on this knife. Just beautiful knife. So I highly recommend this. Now I did put these little 6mm O-rings. They didn't come with it. I added that. I like it. It makes it comfortable. It gives me a little more comfort as I flip it open. Sorry, I got my finger in the way. As you flip it open, really nice. So this is titanium on the one side. It's got this, this is LC200N steel for the deep pocket carry clip, the steel bar insert, the pivot screws and everything. Very high corrosion resistant kind of material. Vanax Super Clean, which is super corrosion resistance up there. Probably just a little slight better than MagnaCut, but it's right up there with it, right? Has a steel bar insert. Like I said, right now we're at a good maybe 60 to 70% engagement, but there's no blade play. It's in there locked nice and solidly. The action is beautiful. There's no pivot play. You get the nice detent and click here. So that's just a nice crispy click. And no detent lash. It's in there beautifully. Reverse flicks really nicely as well using the clip. And this is just, I'm not a wired clip fan, but the way they do their wire clips is just outstanding. It has just enough traction, works in and out, but it's not so soft and wobbly. I feel like it's moving all over the place. It's just done really like I feel like a wire clip should be done. I wish if everybody could do their wire clip this strong, this solidly, I would love them. But alas, a lot of them are kind of, weak and they wobble all over. This doesn't. It is right-hand tip pocket only. If you notice the beautiful, all the screws are on one side, so this is just kind of like a show side with the texture. And that texture, let's zoom in on that texture. That texture is just ridiculous. It's wonderful. If you're not familiar with Quiet Carry's texture that they do on their titanium, it's just fantastic. And now this is the back side. All T8 screws, even the steel bar inserts and the clip here as well, which is just really nice. And even if you wanted to get rid of the, the thumb studs here, you can. That's T8, so that's kind of cool. I think that's particularly cool, actually. So let me zoom out a little bit. I hit the wrong button. All right, there we go. Everything's round, beautifully chamfered all the way around. Even the corner down here is nice and rounded. So that's beautifully done. You've got a nice cutout, which allows your thumbs just to move right in here where they need to be. Easy to deploy, both left-handed and right-handed. So like that, you see, left-handed, here it goes. And then reverse flick works really nicely. I love that. This is very fidgety, right? So, and then even left-handed, I got the bonus fidget. Oh, now my hands are a little dry, so let me get in there. Goodness. All right, sorry. Normally I can do this. My hands are just super dry. It's been super cold here. And so everything dries up, right? But it works really well if you have a little traction on your finger and your hand's not all dry like mine is right now. I just can't seem to, there we go. I got to get a little traction on there. It's just, when it's dry, it slips. But the bonus flicking works. It works, and it works really well when your hands aren't dry. And so I really appreciate that. Now, I can't really get it to on my left hand because my hands just, I'm not going to try. My hands are just too dry. But it works, and it's just really nice. And what I love is this is phosphor bronze washers. Look at this action. It just beautifully drops. I feel like it's like a Benchmade. You know, Benchmade executes, and Deca Hogue does a really good job on their phosphor bronze washers, and they have just beautiful action. Like, matter of fact, I have my Benchmade Adamas with a MagnaCut here, and I can get that beautiful drop action, see? Just like that. So you can see that, and that just works really nicely, just like that. And I love what they do. Quiet Carry does this, but look how thin that is. I mean, that's a big difference in thickness. I mean, that is, you're looking like it microscopically thin compared to this very bulky knife. You know, two very different designs, right? But I love this. I love this. It's a crown spine up here, beautifully rounded all the way around. Beautiful full flat grind, beautiful satin finish that works really well. Crazy sharp edge. I love that. Nice edge put on there. I love the engagement limb there. It locks up really well. Nice jimping on the top, so you can really use that for cutting. Definitely can, you know, choke up, pinch grip. Nice slicer, really works well. Really, really works well. The action, I think, is just phenomenal. I like that. Just look at the drop on that. I know I'm focusing on that, but there's a reason why I focus on that, because you just don't normally get that out of something so thin, executed so well with such appealing and just acoustically and action feeling and everything in a knife. It's just a nice combination. So Quiet Carry doesn't really disclose who the OEM is, but I've heard it's probably Taiwan, which makes me believe, because the quality and the heat treats tend to be a little bit better, something you don't normally find in China. So it is, and to me, Taiwan is just a little bit better place to get things done. No offense, China does a great job, but Taiwan just is able to just step it up just a little bit better. And that blade to handle ratio is just outstanding. Beautiful back spacer. You do have a little hole here for a lanyard loop. It kind of goes up through here. It's probably not your most ideal, but you could definitely put a lanyard in there if you want it. It's not prioritized, which I like. Super deep pocket carry clip. All those things are just fantastic. Really, really well. Opening and the closing as well. The frame lock is really great. It's really kind of a thin bar, so it doesn't get in the way of any of the things that you're doing. So that's nice. So let's go ahead and measure this. Let's weigh this guy. See how heavy this is. It doesn't feel heavy for such a big knife. So let's go ahead and see what we got. We have exactly 3.5 inches, 3.5 ounces. So it's a 3.5 ounce knife, which is not bad. I think that's pretty outstanding. So 3.5 ounces. All right, let's look at our overall length here. So go from the very tip to the very back. We will look at this knife, and we're looking at just under 8 inches. We're like probably 7 7/8 of an inch. So it's probably 1/8 of an inch, just shy of 8 inches, right? So overall handle length, we're looking at just a little over 4 1/4, about just under 4 inches if you go with the inside, but if you allow your finger to come over to the edge, you get about 4 1/8 of an inch, right? If you choke up just ever so slightly, it gives you about 4 1/4. So there you go. All right, so overall blade length, if you look from the tip to the handle, we're right at 3.5 inches. I mean, it's right there, 3.5 inches. Overall cutting length, we're looking at just shy of 3.5 inches. We're probably at 3 3/8. Probably, I'm going to say 7/16, maybe 3 7/16. So, it's fairly close to the ratios. When you look at the ratios, 3.5. So, I mean, it's almost perfect ratios, and makes me wonder. Let's see, where's the center of balance on this thing here? Yeah, so it's right there, right where you grip it. So it feels very balanced right there. I think that's kind of cool. It really just feels really good in hand. The knife just works. Now, this is where the beauty of this knife comes through, I think. This kind of blows me away when we get here. So we're going to have to go here. All right, so we are looking at a blade stock thickness of 88 thousandths of an inch. So that's 0.088 inches. So 0.09 inches, whatever. It is a thin blade, which is awesome. Such a slicer, beautiful slicer. It's going to work really outstanding as a slicer. I love, love, love that. Now it's $335. Definitely puts it in the high end. It's over $300, less than $600, but absolutely worth every penny of this knife. If you haven't had a chance to check this out, highly recommend it. Checking this out. This is such a good knife. Such a good knife. I really like this knife. Feels so good in hand. Action is phenomenal. Everything about it is just outstanding, and I cannot talk more positively about it. So you know I'm going to be recommending at the end. Spoiler, but yeah, this knife is definitely up in my, like I said, my contention of knife of the year in 2023 for sure. So there you go. I really, really, really like this knife a lot. All right, so what is it? Is it EDC use? Absolutely EDC use. Is it hard use? Absolutely hard use for what you can with a thinner blade. Vanax super clean, so I would say more salt water, absolutely, you know, wet areas. This is going to be a fantastic knife. Phosphor bronze is going to keep dirt and grime and things from coming in there. So yeah, definitely hard use. Now, would I use it poke and pry and chop? No, I wouldn't. Get an axe, get a you know, a saw, whatever. You know, don't fixed blade. Don't use this for that. But for hard use, everyday use, like, you know, around the office, around the house, maybe on a boat, I think it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic knife. Is it a collection piece? Quite Carry is one of those exception places that a lot of their designs are, I think, quite a collection piece worthy. Beautiful. They execute the milling, the texture on the scales so well. I love it. I love it. It's a personal favorite of mine, just the aesthetic. Now, you know, it's not everybody's aesthetic, but it is certainly mine, and I really like how that comes together. With the satin finish on here, and then the stone wash here really allows it to be a very useful knife. Very, very EDC hard use potential, but yet at the same time a collection piece. So there you go. Overall design, everything coming together, beautifully chamfered, everything around, no sharp edges, the clip works well, no hot spots as you grip, easy to grip. I mean, it's wide enough and thick enough. It's thin, but it's wide enough to give you a good grip. You don't feel like it's going to roll in your hand. Got some jimping, can really hold that in place up there. Nice pinch grip. The action is just beautiful. Opening and closing just comes together so nicely. It just works well. Left-handed and right-handed, it flips really well. I love the edge. Keeps it nice and sharp, doesn't disappear right away, which is a lot of fun for me. I like to have crazy sharp edges. So yeah, all that works well, and the opening closing is just stellar. So fidgety goodness. You got thumb studs, right? And sometimes that could be maybe at best a 3 if it's executed absolutely perfectly. Well, these thumb studs are executed absolutely perfectly. They are. You're placed in the right place. You're guided by this right here every time to have a perfect deployment, both left-handed, reverse flicking, both right-handed and reverse flicking, left-handed reverse flicking. Works really, really well. Now, like I said, if my hands weren't so dry, I have that bonus flick, and my hands are just dry because it's so cold out right now. And if I can get in there, it just works. It works really, and right now I can't do it left-handed. I told you, normally, now I got it, but my hands are really dry, and it's kind of slip, and it's easy to slip out of there. But I get that bonus flick, which to me, with a thin blade like that, is awesome. I love it. I love it. So this gives it a 4 out of 10 on the fidget scale, fidget factor scale. So my fidget factor scale is a 4 out of 10, which to me is always nice to do that when you have just a single deployment method. I think that's like a bonus. Okay, so 4 out of 10. Now as far as fidgety goodness, yeah, I'm gonna give it 100. I love this. This knife is so fidgety, works so well. Even if I'm slipping on the left hand, because I can tell you, during the summer when it was hot and everything, and I was using this knife, it was fun. It wasn't slipping out of my hand. It was working perfectly like I wanted to. And I got to tell you, this flicking with the thumb studs, sometimes I'm not a flipper only, thumb stud only, but this knife does it. It does it well. Just like they had the large IQ, which is a flipper only, they do that really well. Here you got the thumb studs, and they do that really well. So, to me, I like it. I like it. The Drift LC is the thumb hole, fuller hole, and they do that really well. So yeah, very cool. I like it. I mean, I can only imagine if they ever decided to do multiple deployments, how amazing that would be. So with knowing their design, their aesthetics, how tight that is, I think it's just really wonderful. And by the way, it didn't drop because my fingers were a little high. So when I do that, it's just a little easier. But there you go. Really cool, really cool. So we get 100% out of that. So obviously, is it going to be recommended? Absolutely 100%. Recommended knife, recommended higher end knives. Absolutely. So definitely. So let's take a quick look at this beautiful together with that nice satin finish on the blade there. Matter of fact, I'm going to wipe that down so you can see the beautifulness, because my hands are a little, leave my fingerprints on there, and I want that so you guys can enjoy that, because it's almost a high polish. It reminds me of Artisan Cutlery, my Satyr, that high polish finish that they have. Just look at that. Just I feel like that. What does that mean when guys just look at that? Would you look at that? Would you look at that? I don't know. That's what I think about when I look at that. Just say, look at that. That's just fantastic. I love this knife. I really do. I really have enjoyed this knife a lot. It's one of those knives that You know, it'll be a sad day if I ever let this go out of my collection. It'll be because I have to for some reason, right? My kids or whatever, you know, because those are always more important than any of my knives. My wife's more important than any of my knives. So these never come before that, just so you all know that. Drop those in a heartbeat for those. So, but if I can have them, I'll keep them. This is going to be one I'll keep. So this is the Quiet Carry Drift L. Highly recommend it. Definitely worth checking out. I don't think you'd be disappointed. Definitely get them when you can. This is one of my favorite models that they have right now. Really do enjoy that. So there you go. Hey, if you have any questions about this knife, the review, the channel, please let me know in the comments down below. I do try to read them. Do like to reply to you guys. So appreciate that. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, entertaining, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button? If you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows the channel to grow, produce more content, do more things, and ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to every one of you guys, especially who watch the videos, who subscribe, who like the videos. I appreciate you guys. And if you haven't already, hit that notification button so you can be notified of future content. Would really appreciate that. And to all my channel members, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel and being channel members. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys. And I mean that. I say that every video, and I don't say it out of repetition. I mean that. You guys are amazing. I thank you for that. I'm humbled every time. Every week I get blown away. And I just want you to know that. So thank you. If you guys are interested, you're on the fence, you thought, man, maybe I'd like to be a channel member. There is a little link in the description down below. Would love to have you. You're always welcome. Not a requirement. I don't want you to ever feel like you have to, but man, if you are, I would love to have you. I'd be honored. And as a way to me to say thank you to all my channel members, I do have a once a month channel member giveaway. And then we also do some exclusive content. You absolutely get a sticker once you become a channel member if you haven't got one before. And if you ever decide to become an Uber nerd, you get a special sticker, and I'm more than happy to send those out to you. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing. And then finally, if you haven't already, check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.